Welcome back to the CryptoWorld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Ethereum is testing an important price level on the chart ahead of the ETHEREUM Shanghai upgrade, which is set to happen in less than 24 hours from now. And this is a big deal for Ethereum. So I'll be talking about that later in the video. Definitely stick around. First of all, just giving you a quick update on US CPI inflation, which as of recording this video is sitting at 6%, but we are about to receive new inflation numbers. And by the time you're watching this video, the numbers are probably already going to be released. But right now, at the time of recording this video, the majority is expecting the year-over-year inflation number to come in at 5.2%, with the trading economics forecast expecting 5.3% year-over-year inflation. And now, considering these numbers are very close to being released, if you're watching this video and the numbers are already out, then I'll post them in the pinned comment down below. So check the pinned comment below this video and you'll see the new inflation numbers down there. Otherwise, if you want to stay up to date in real time, make sure to follow me over on my Twitter to get these numbers as soon as they get released. And all you really need to know is if inflation comes in at around these expectations, so at around 5.2% to 5.3%, then in that case, that will be relatively neutral for markets, and we shouldn't really see a lot of volatility immediately when the numbers get released if they come in at around expectations, because these expectations have already been priced into the markets. But if the new CPI inflation numbers end up being far away from those expectations, then that is where we could see a lot more volatility. Basically, the lower the inflation number is, the more bullish that should be for markets, and the higher it is, the more bearish that should be for markets. So essentially, if we end up seeing a number in the 4% range, for example, below 5%, we should see a short-term bullish movement across markets. But on the flip side, if the number comes in at, let's just say, close to 6%, then we should see a short-term bearish move in the markets. And in case you're wondering, the new CPI inflation numbers will be released at 12:30 p.m. GMT time on the 12th of April, which is in just a few hours from now at the time of recording this video. And once again, if the numbers are already out, I'll let you know in the pinned comment down below this video. But anyway, now getting into the Bitcoin part of this video, this right here is on the 3-day Bitcoin to US dollar chart. And obviously right now, as of recording this video, the price is still trading above this significant area of resistance, which is sitting in between 28,000 to 29.5k. But we still need to see some more confirmation for this breakout to the upside. Even though the price is sitting above this resistance, we need to see at least a 3-day candle close, but ideally a weekly candle close above 29,500. Ideally above 30,000 would be even better, because of course that would further confirm this breakout to the upside, and obviously that would be a bullish signal if we see that confirmation. And as for other price targets to the upside, other significant levels of resistance here on the daily time frame, these have not changed since my last video. So if you're new to the channel, check out my last video on this channel if you want to know some of these other resistance levels further to the upside, now that we are breaking out above this resistance. But anyway, zooming into the daily Bitcoin chart, and once again, as of recording this video, the price is trading above this significant area of resistance, and we have already now seen 2 daily candle closes. But like I said, we still ideally need to see at least a weekly candle close, considering how significant this resistance is. And also, as I mentioned in my last video on this channel, this bearish divergence on the daily time frame has already played out and is currently invalid. And in order to confirm a new bearish divergence, we would have to reconfirm a lower high in place here in the daily Bitcoin RSI, which has not happened as of right now. So at least for now, obviously the Bitcoin trend is still bullish, still making higher lows, higher highs. And as of right now, we do not have any active bearish divergences here on the daily Bitcoin chart. So overall, once again, we are still looking more bullish than bearish. But just in the shorter term, here on the 4-hour Bitcoin chart over the last 1 day or so, obviously we have seen a bit of a short-term cool-off. And this is also what I talked about in my last video. Once again, I said that the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI is extremely overbought breakout, meaning the price has gone too far to the upside too quickly, and we basically need some time to cool off in the short term, meaning either sideways price action or a slight pullback, because both sideways price action and a pullback can help reset this RSI back down towards more neutral levels. And obviously now this is happening, now that we're seeing some sideways price action and actually a slight pullback from the local high. This is currently resetting the RSI, but as of recording this video, the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI is still sitting in overbought territories, which means we still have some time here to continue cooling off after this pump to the upsides. So at least in the immediate short term, I wouldn't necessarily expect a bullish movement unless we get really bullish inflation numbers. Obviously, those numbers can dictate prices in the short term, depending on what those numbers are. But aside from that, technically speaking, based on the RSI alone, we're still due to see a bit more of a short-term cool-off before potentially continuing the trend later on, considering as of right now, we're still in a bullish trend. And as for support here in the short term, I'll be looking towards this previous area of resistance, which should now be acting as new support. And this is sitting in between around 28.6K to 29K. In case we see a bit more of a pullback, once again, that should be acting as support. But in a more bearish scenario, let's just say if we get bad inflation numbers and we actually break back below that support, then in that case, other levels of support would be at around 27.8K. And below that level, then I'll be watching this price range sitting in between around 26.5K to 26.9K, also acting as support. And now if you're taking a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart here on the weekly time frame, right now the Bitcoin dominance is finally beginning to break out to the upside above this significant area of resistance that has been holding down the Bitcoin dominance for just about 2 years. And now once again, even though the Bitcoin dominance is currently trading above this area of resistance, which by the way, this resistance is sitting in between 47.5% to around 48.5%. And even though the Bitcoin dominance is sitting above that area as of right now, we still need to see more confirmation to actually confirm this breakout, such as a weekly candle close, for example, confirming the breakout above this resistance. And of course, the next weekly candle close is in around 4.5 days from now. And now in that case, if we end up seeing a confirmed breakout above this resistance in the Bitcoin dominance, obviously that is a good thing for Bitcoin, because that means Bitcoin is gaining market share against the rest of the crypto markets. But it is not necessarily a good thing for the altcoin market, because when the Bitcoin dominance is going to the upside, that basically means Bitcoin is outperforming the altcoin market on average. So basically the altcoins are underperforming against Bitcoin. The altcoins could still be gaining against the US dollar, but most altcoins would be lagging behind Bitcoin's gains if the Bitcoin dominance is going to the upside, as it is right now. And now one of the main reasons as to why the Bitcoin dominance is likely going to the upside is because of the upcoming Ethereum Shapella upgrade, which is the Shanghai Capella upgrade. And now, technically speaking, it is two separate upgrades happening simultaneously. The Shanghai upgrade is on the execution layer, and the Capella upgrade is happening on the consensus layer. And once again, those two upgrades are happening simultaneously, which is why this upgrade is also known as the Shapella upgrade, meaning Shanghai and Capella. And basically, the main thing that you need to know about this Ethereum upgrade is that ETH stakers will be allowed to unstake their ETH after this upgrade. And right now, there is currently just over 18 million ETH staked, which is worth just under 34 billion US dollars. And now it is important to mention that not all of this ETH will be allowed to unstake all at once. There will be what's known as a withdrawal queue, which basically means even if all of these ETH stakers wanted to withdraw all of their ETH at once, they simply would not be able to do that, because they would have to unstake over time. They would have to get in line behind all of the other people wanting to potentially unstake their ETH. And so what's most likely going to happen is after this upgrade goes ahead in less than 1 day from now, in fact, in around half a day from now, we're likely going to see some portion of this ETH get unstaked over the coming days, weeks, maybe over the next few months. But as for how much of this ETH could be unstaked and sold over the coming days, weeks, or months, we simply don't know, because obviously that's only speculation. We don't actually know what these stakers are going to do with this ETH. We don't know if they're going to continue staking all of this ETH, or perhaps some of them might withdraw this ETH and sell it. But we can probably assume that if there are people wanting to unstake their ETH that have been waiting to unstake their ETH to sell that ETH, it's likely that they're not going to wait too long after this upgrade. So potentially in the coming days, maybe weeks after this upgrade, we could possibly see some bearish price action in the price of ETH as some of those stakers unstake their ETH to sell it. Because of course, up until now, well, up until the Shanghai upgrade goes ahead, they have not been able to unstake that ETH at all. It's basically been locked in indefinitely. And so once again, we could see a bit of short-term selling pressure not long after this upgrade takes place. But over the longer term, this upgrade is potentially bullish. In fact, very bullish for the price of ETH over the longer term, because once you add the ability to be able to withdraw your staked ETH and essentially unstake that ETH at any time, which once again will become a reality after this new upgrade, then that basically reduces the risk to stake ETH. Because once again, like I just said earlier, up until now, if you wanted to stake ETH, that ETH is essentially locked in there indefinitely until this Shanghai upgrade takes place. And so previously, if you wanted to stake ETH, you really didn't know for sure when you can actually unstake that ETH. You didn't really know for sure when you could ever get that money back. And so obviously that would have been quite a large risk for a lot of large players in the market, potentially stopping a lot of large players from staking ETH at all. But that could change after this new upgrade, because once withdrawals are enabled, making it so you can unstake your ETH at any time, over the longer term, we're likely going to see more and more ETH get staked, because obviously there's that added risk removed after this new Shanghai upgrade. So once again, in the somewhat shorter term, not long after this upgrade, we could see some bearish price action. Perhaps some of this staked ETH gets unstaked and sold on the market. But over the longer term, that could potentially prove as a buying opportunity, because this could be a long-term bullish upgrade for Ethereum. And once again, this Ethereum Shanghai upgrade, or shapella upgrade, is happening in around 12 hours from now, around half a day from now. And once again, I'll keep you up to date in real time over on my Twitter. So if you don't already follow me over there, make sure you're doing that. The link to my Twitter is in the description down below and also in the pinned comment. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum part of this video, looking at the Ethereum charts. This is on the 3-day time frame, and right now the price of ETH is still in between this 38.2% Fibonacci level and the 50% retracement level. And of course, this 50% retracement level is still sitting at around $2,000 as the next significant price target to the upside, the next significant resistance level to the upside. And as for significant support here on the 3-day time frame, this previous Fibonacci level at around 1.7k should be acting as significant support in the case that we see a larger pullback from here. And now if you're zooming into the daily time frame, obviously at the time of recording this video, we are still trending in the bullish direction, forming higher lows and higher highs. And once again, we still have this area of resistance on the daily time frame at around 1980 to 2040. And as for support here on the daily time frame, we have this price area, which was previous resistance, acting as new support in between 1770 to around 1820. And now if you're zooming into the shorter term, this is on the 4-hour ETH to US dollar chart. And like I said in the intro of this video, right now the price of ETH is at an important price level on the charts, because as of recording this video, the price of ETH is testing this ascending line of support, which is sitting at approximately 1860. And now if we do end up seeing a break below this ascending line of support, we still have this area of support, which was previous resistance, sitting in between around 1830 to 1850 here in the shorter term. But if we end up seeing a confirmed break back below around 1830, then in that case, obviously that would be a short-term bearish signal telling us that we're breaking back into this previous sideways price range. And in that case, we would likely see a drop down to at least this support level sitting at around 1780. But below that level, then I would expect more support down here at around 1710 to 1730. So at least for now, once again, the price is still technically trending in the bullish direction because we're still seeing things like higher lows and higher highs, at least as of right now. But if some of these short-term levels of support break with confirmation, such as candle closes below these support levels, then of course that could flip the short-term trend into more of a short-term bearish trend. But even in that case, even if we flip more bearish in the short term, that still doesn't necessarily change the larger trend here on the daily time frame, because let's just say if the price pulls all the way back down towards around 1720, for example, which obviously would be a short-term bearish movement, if you're looking at that move on the daily time frame, that would look something like this, for example. So obviously not necessarily changing the larger trend at play. And now if you want to know how to maximize your profits in crypto, no matter if the price is going to the upside, to the downside, or simply chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is going either up or down, and the video in the bottom left shows you how to make money if the price is chopping around sideways. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.